There are these little gems around the North Country, or were. Some have disappeared. They're unique artistic playlands is the best way I can describe them. Think Arto Monaco's Land of Make-Believe in Upper J, Santa's Workshop in Wilmington, the original Storybook Lane at the Enchanted Forest in Old Forge. They recall a simpler, less mediated, less tech-driven time when having fun was very in-person, very tactile, very physical. Another one of these places is in St. Lawrence County, and it's actually on the comeback trail, bringing the fun back to the banks of the Grass River. That's today's story of the day.
Support for Story of the Day comes from the Wild Center in Tupper Lake, dedicated to strengthening visitors' connections to the natural world. More at wildcenter.org.
Hey, I'm David Sommerstein. It's Monday, July 14th. First up, President Donald Trump's new budget law will blow a $3 billion hole into New York State's budget. Jimmy Vielkind reports for the New York Public News Network.
State Budget Director Blake Washington says the so-called Big Beautiful Bill will cut billions of dollars from the state's Medicaid program starting next year. The program is jointly funded by the state and federal governments. It provides health care to low-income and disabled people. Washington says hospitals will also take a hit.
The word that comes to mind is just destabilization. It is a system-wide impact to the provider network.
Washington says Governor Kathy Hochul will talk with Democrats who control the state legislature about how to respond. Republicans in Congress say the bill lowers taxes and cuts down on Medicaid waste, fraud, and abuse. In Albany, I'm Jimmy Vielkind for the New York Public News Network.
These cuts in funding to New York raises big questions for people with disabilities who rely on some aspects of Medicaid for their daily lives. Emily Watkins has that story for the New York Public News Network.
I have learned that it's not just one thing. It's basically, it helps me with my entire life.
That's 35-year-old Hannah Brecker talking about Medicaid. And she's right. Medicaid covers a lot and isn't just health insurance. Brecker shared that when doctors discovered issues with her ankles, she could get treatment to walk better. When she was diagnosed with autism,
I got therapy to be able to speak and to be able to do a lot of things. So Medicaid has really been there for me.
But one aspect of Medicaid that doesn't get talked about as much is Home and Community-Based Services, or HCBS. These programs vary state by state, but usually focus on providing supports that allow people to stay in their communities. Brecker is able to access additional support, including a care coordinator, through this program. But that's not all HCBS covers.
I use Medicaid for aid service. It helps me to do daily living.
Mike Rogers is another self-advocate who relies on home and community-based services in New York.
What scares me the most is, not knowing what fully is going to be affected and what does that mean down the road.
While many are concerned about the direct cuts the One Big Beautiful Bill Act or the federal budget makes to Medicaid, advocates worry about how the states will make up for these cuts. The Nonpartisan Policy Institute Center for American Progress has pointed out that previously, when federal funds to states for Medicaid have been lost, states have attempted to make up that lost funding by cutting programs. Those cuts have included HCBS programs, dental programs, and even speech therapy for adults, like what Brecker received.
I feel like they want us to reopen institutions and put us away again when we just want to be out in the community. We want to be able to live our lives the way we need to.
Advocates worry that the loss of any of these benefits could impact disabled people being able to live independently rather than in an institution or hospital. Brecker says that as someone with a learning disability, she worries about losing her HCBS-funded care coordinator, who provides her the information she needs to make important decisions.
My care coordination, what they would do is they would guide me to where I need to go and give me information. The thing is that with care coordination for us, it's definitely our lifeline.
Both Brecker and Rogers say that while the cuts the federal spending plan makes are concerning, They worry about what we don't yet know, how states will decide to cope with these cuts, and if that will include sacrificing vital programs within HCBS.
We cannot lose these things, or we lose our freedoms.
I'm Emily Watkins for the New York Public News Network.
The Lazy River Playground in Herman in St. Lawrence County has been delighting children and adults for more than 80 years. A new generation of owners is working to bring fresh life to this special place. News intern Nora Kenyon went there and has our story.
On a Friday night in Herman, kids are stomping around on roller skates in a wooden hall that looks like a barn. They've been waiting all week for this. Friday night skate at the Lazy River Playground. Among those skating is Janine Forrester, a resident of Russell. She's here with friends and their kids to celebrate the end of the school year. Forrester says skating here lets the kids get out of their heads and have fun.
They're so worried about standing up. They're not overthinking like, oh, how do I look? Or I'm not cool enough. They're just having fun.
It's her second time at the Friday Night Skate, an event where the Lazy River opens up their skating hall to the community. But her parents were no strangers to the rink.
My mom and dad used to come on dates here, and they've been married for over 50 years.
For over 80 years, the Lazy River Playground has served as a rustic event venue deep in a wooded area on the banks of the Grass River. There are covered pavilions for grilling, cabin rentals, and a 1950s putt-putt golf course with tree roots coming up through the pavement on some holes, adding an extra challenge. For a few years, events here were in a sort of lull. But now, events like Friday Night Skate are coming back.
But it's a small court. You have to go around the corners a lot.
That's Ann Grandy Davis, the daughter of the original owner of the Lazy River Playground. She grew up skating on this rink. Although not on skates anymore, Grandy Davis said she used to be skating morning, noon, and night.
Annie was definitely the best skater of the time.
That's her husband, Richard Hermer. The pair said it was the only gathering place out in the Herman and Russell area back then.
For years and years and years, it was quite the place to be.
Grandy Davis said it all started in 1942 when her father, John Grandy, found a fun way to make a little money while also watching over the local kids.
And the kids from Herman used to come in all the time to go swimming. And they'd leave the gate open and the cows would get out.
John Grandy ended up charging people, I believe, a dime to go swimming. And then if they needed swimming suits, it was an extra nickel.
That's Doug Rutchko, Grandy's great-grandson and the current owner of the Lazy River Playground. He began running it in 2018 after his grandfather, Red Grandy, died. For the last few years of Grandy's life, the Lazy River only had a few events a year. But he wanted this to change.
He said, so Doug, what are you going to do with Lazy River Playground? I go, I'm going to keep it going, just like we talked about. And a big smile.
And that's what Rutchko did. In 2019, he met Sarah Pickard. Pickard brought her skills as a forest therapy guide and Reiki practitioner to the Lazy River. And they soon found that, oddly enough, COVID was a great time to begin reopening.
That was the time in COVID when they said you can congregate outside with people, but not inside. And so we opened it.
Today, the Lazy River is mainly an event venue. While there are some community events like the Friday Night Skate and Mindful Nature Walks, it hosts family reunions, birthday parties, and even weddings.
You come here for fun and family and relaxation.
Pickard says the Lazy River is magical.
People that came here 80 years ago, remember that. They might have been 5 years old, but they come back and they say, it's the same.
Pickard runs the new part of the Lazy River, hosting wellness walks and nature retreats. She has a special one coming up in September for those on their journey healing from cancer. Currently, they're in the process of getting a forest therapy trail certification. Pickard says it would be the first in New York State, and they have even more plans in the works.
Every day, we are out there doing something, maintaining something.
It's not a perfect setup, but boy, it's a lot of fun.
And really, that's what the Lazy River is all about. Having a good old-fashioned fun time. For North Country Public Radio, I'm Nora Kenyon in Herman.
We have more news all the time on our website, ncpr.org. Music today by Eddie Lawrence of Saranac Lake and Paul Myers of Colton. I'm David Summerstein, North Country Public Radio.